And on a Monday evening between 9 and 10, it's the Inspiration Hour with Andre, the big positive guy.
I've got with me today Jarette Petzer. Hello, Jarette.
Hello.
It's not often. I think you're about the second or third person I've had twice in a year.
Oh, fantastic.
But I just thought while I was sitting there lazing on my back during the holidays, I saw that you jumped up to 1 million followers.
1 million followers.
On hashtag I'm staying. And I thought to myself, I don't think anybody who's really hasn't done social media actually knows what that means. That is an unbelievable achievement. What did you do?
Yeah. So
How did you find out, number one? I suppose you've been watching it for ages.
Yeah, we've been clocking it for. I mean, we watch it religiously, day in and day out.
Yeah.
But we knew we were going to start hitting our number when we based it against our analytics. Analytics growth is about 80,000 a month. I think every time we did a growth announcement, our community just started getting so excited that they just carried on inviting and inviting and inviting and inviting. And before you knew it, our numbers just ramped up completely. And we hit the number just before New Year's. It was fantastic.
So how long have you been going now?
4 months.
4 months.
Yeah.
Is there anybody with 1 million people in a group in South Africa?
Yeah, there's lots. I think
lots.
I think there's a lot of groups that have got 1 million and more. But I don't think there's any groups anywhere on the African continent that have got our engagement. So on any given day, we have 600,000 or 700,000 people active on our platform on any given day. I mean, let's just put that into perspective.
That's an unbelievable.
So we've got people that are talking, they're liking, they're sharing, they in some way engage on our platform, and I think that's those numbers are. I mean, that's just, I don't think there's anything like it. If you look at our moderation team, and moderators being the guys that help us control the content on the platform, we're now sitting at 123 of them. That makes us the largest moderation team in the world out of all the Facebook groups that Facebook Global know about. Which is pretty
just
interesting.
Remind us again. Let's just pretend I've been stuck somewhere for a couple of months, and I haven't seen this hashtag I'm staying. What is it all about? How did it come about in a nutshell?
So the idea was to create a more positive narrative in South Africa, which 4 months ago things were looking quite bleak for us. Just start highlighting things in the country and highlighting people's stories and people's shared moments. Anything that was inspiring, really.
This was at a moment that was really bad because we had that woman against violence. We had the xenophobia going on in Johannesburg. It was a bad time. It was about August. It
was very bad. It was very, very bad. Yeah, I mean, it was politically we were unstable. The economy was unstable. The socioeconomics. I mean, we're still facing a lot of these challenges, but I think it felt like there was no way out for us. I felt like we were completely cornered as a nation. And I think when we set this platform loose, I think everyone just resonated with this feeling of hope. I think that's what it did. It inspired hope, and I think that's what this platform's done all along. Is it's really inspired hope. It's given people this opportunity to say maybe we can, maybe we can actually do okay. Maybe we can be better.
Yeah. And so you and I went for a little celebratory cappuccino the other day to celebrate the 1 million. And one of the things that I was trying to ask you, because I don't think people have any idea how big 1 million people are. So I was asking you just now, how many people per day interact with you?
Oh, gracious me. I mean, we've got thousands.
Ingrid, you've got to guess a number in your head?
So in the last 7 days, we've had 201,000 comments in the last 7 days.
Okay, so it's about 30,000 a day. Every single one of those has to be read. And every single one of those, you've got an admin going through that and saying yes or no.
Yeah.
I mean, this is like an army.
Comments and you've got posts, right? So posts, we're getting 30,000 a day. We get 30,000 a day, and we've got 120 people siphoning
120 people.
Yeah, just siphoning through those posts to make sure that the posts are in line with our rules, the group rules. Yeah, and on any given day, you can have 30,000 posts coming onto the platform, but you might only have 1,500 that actually make it onto the platform because the rest of them have not been in line with our rules, whatever the case may be. It varies, the number varies, but just to give you an idea of how much processing there is in the background.
So this is not something, I think a lot of people just imagine it's a little group, like I started a group and now I've got 1 million followers and it's all along. But behind the scenes, you've got 140 volunteers. You've now got 3 full-time staff. You've had some premises kindly donated to you that you can actually study, because it's not something you can just do in your bedroom.
Yeah,
it's actually a business now.
Yeah, it's a business. So we've got an amazing advisory team in the back end. I mean, we've got the likes of Ross Farragut-Thomas. I don't know if anyone knows who he is, but he's the ex-CEO of Virgin. He's a fantastic human being, firstly, and second of all, from an advisory point of view, he's really amazing. Mark Abel from MNC Saatchi, and Abel has been wonderful to us. He's really looked after us, got behind us to support us. And then we've got, obviously, Ingrid van Staan, who's who's been there with us from the beginning. And so it's a small little team, but we've got quite a big advisory board, and like you said, there's a lot of support that happens in the background to get this thing going. We're not a Facebook group anymore, really. You know, the Facebook group is still there, but we're a non-profit company now. We've got initiatives in place, or we're supporting initiatives like Trusted Interns, stuff that really hits home for us, which is, you know, when it comes to talking about unemployment and job opportunities and the stuff that we know is critical in our country at the moment. So
when we first started this off, and one of the discussions that we had is about the value of a board. And I mean, I've always had even my own companies where I'm the boss. There's an enormous value in making yourself accountable to guys that are cleverer than yourself. And you've been very blessed to get a whole lot of seriously clever guys and give you some good advice. Without them, would you still be here?
No.
Would you have run for the hills?
I don't think we would have
gone back to your job.
I don't think we would have gotten where we got to, because, you know, I had some ambitious ideas in the beginning about what I wanted this thing to be. And I completely, you know, I didn't pay attention to the risks at all. So having the likes of these guys, these clever guys, like you say, coming on board, you know, they quickly, you know, put things into perspective and showed us where the shortfalls might be and the issues we might run into. So absolutely, it's been invaluable having these people on my side and helping me to navigate my way through to get you. I don't think if we had them, we would be anywhere near where we are.
So one of the things that I'm extremely excited about is that whenever there are 1 million people gathered together, that there is an enormous amount of goodwill, and there's an enormous number of things that you can do. But I think the responsibility now lies upon you and your group of advisors to say which are those things that we're going to pick. So are there any things that you are looking at the moment for now that you've got the 1 million? You've been settled in now for, I want to say settled in for 4 or 5 months. Are there any sort of avenues that you're looking at that you can say maybe this is where this is going to? Is it just going to be a feel-good organization, or are we actually going to do something on the ground?
So I think if you're looking what hashtag I'm staying is, we've got a magnificent audience. We've got a really big audience. We've got I mean, if you look at us, we're a loudspeaker. We can amplify initiatives, and we can give them more legs. We can give them more exposure. And I think that's really what we need to be. We need to be this thing that helps get other initiatives the exposure that they need to help them get traction. And then obviously we'd like to get involved from an events perspective, because I'm a big believer in getting those 1 million people, you know, off the platform. And if we can get thousands huddled together, then, you know, you've got that energy of these people all with the same intent. I think you will see some real magic happening there. Hashtag I'm staying is, it's the loudspeaker, you know, it's the thing that brings awareness to things that need to be known.
The thing that I've been most respectful of the group is, and I think it's also the thing that you get criticized for most, is that everyone thinks that you're making buckets and buckets of money. And the reality is that if I had a radio station with 1 million listeners, the amount of advertising I'd be able to do would be astronomical. I mean, really, with 1 million listeners, the advertising and the money you can generate is almost unlimited. And you have refrained from doing that. You haven't gone there. There's nobody sitting there selling a particular angle, a particular song. And that's what I think a lot of people don't realize. How are you generating the money for yourself to eat, at least, and for Ingrid and for Johanna?
Well, we're busy plotting that now. It's listen. You know, I think it's one of those things very much like Facebook, where nobody really knew exactly what it was when it first started, and how to generate revenues from it. I think we've got to be very mindful of the fact that we don't want to lean too heavily on our membership. But we also have to be sustainable. You know, so we're looking at a couple of different avenues now. Sponsorships are potential for us, and obviously the events that we throw. Hopefully they'll be able to generate some revenues for us. But at the moment, I mean, we've got a small amount of revenue from our membership, you know, through crowdfunding. Nothing significant. It's been quite small actually. But there's potential there. We've got to be very, very careful in terms of how we move forward, and that's why I've been so against going the advertising route on the forum. The forum needs to remain what it is, and that's a place where people come in and tell their stories. I don't want to ever bombard our members with, you know, the likes of some sort of a brand trying to shove something down your throat. Perhaps when our website's up and running and there's, you know, we've got more room to play, then we can look at those avenues. But for now, it just is what it is.
So I think you've been extremely restrained at the moment, and I think if I was you, and I'm supposed to be the conservative one, I probably would have taken the bucks by now and run. And you haven't. So I want to commend you. And for all those people that are thinking that this is like a big gold mine, you know, you've got 1 million listeners and everyone gives you a rand and you get R1 million a day kind of thing. The reality is this is not the truth. This is not what everything. You didn't rock up here in a Ferrari. It was only a Lamborghini. But the reality is it's not that yet. And I think because you are staying true to the original ideals of hashtag I'm staying. And that takes an enormous amount of guts.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Listen, it hasn't been easy. I mean, it's been, but I've never had so much fun in my whole life. I've never had so much fun. I've never felt more filled with purpose than I do right now.
I love that word.
So I think if if we're looking at the bigger picture, the potential of what hashtag I'm staying is, what the potential of what it can do. I think it's so much bigger than myself. It's bigger than all of our advisors. It's bigger than any one of our members. This is a real opportunity for us to affect some proper change in our country. And we've got to be mindful of that,
And the stories that are on hashtag I'm staying. I mean, listen, we could make books and movies about stuff what's happening on that page on a daily basis.
Yeah. Sure, there was a story today that I saw, a little kid named Christian. It's the second time that he was on. Christian, I think his name is. The first one, he started the Speckworm Challenge. And which took off. I mean, he got a huge amount of engagement, and it actually took off. I mean, people are planting speckworm all over the place. They even got like speckworm bonsai, and it's like they're going nuts with speckworm. Anyway.
Yeah, he did 750 over the holidays.
Yes, yeah, this amazing little kid. But anyway, so he goes with his mom to the shops, and there's a lady standing there, and she's looking at a whole bunch of chuck. To try and feed her family or whatever the case is, but it was predominantly bones. And she picked this up and she looked at it, and she didn't have enough money to pay for this. So this kid said, listen, he took this lady aside and said, please come with me. So he took his own money that he had, his little bit of pocket money. He's not a wealthy kid by any means. He took his pocket money and he bought them chicken and rolls, this lady chicken and rolls, and some eggs and a whole lot of stuff. And he said, Joe, I actually choke up with the story because he said, you don't deserve to be eating bones. You deserve more. You deserve more. So you hear stories like that. I mean,
and it's a little kid. When you see him, he's a little blonde little kid. He's about 10, 11 years old. Yeah. He's still a little boy.
There's so much compassion in our country. There's so much love, and I think that's what we were. That's what we were throttled off. We never got to see that until hashtag I'm staying came along, and now all of a sudden you got this monstrosity of a platform. It's just giving all these stories life. It's beautiful.
We're going to take some adverts. When we get back, we're going to be chatting to Jarette Petzer and another Jarette from Trusted Interns.